Hey. I'm your humble host, Phys Ed Music, and this right here is Urban Politics. Want to thank you all for liking and subscribing as you do. Please, as soon as you have a chance, take a little cell phone over to YouTube, like and subscribe. Phys Ed Music, Urban Politics. But without further ado, I want to jump right into it like a car and drive. Got all types of tasty and delicious politics to talk about today. Also got a whole lot of IPAs. I've been kind of getting a backlog of IPAs because I haven't remembered to review them or whatnot on the show. So I got about 4 I'm going to do today. 2 are from Fathead Brewery, which is I can't say a legendary brewery, but they're known for their IPAs. I got 2 amazing IPAs that I sampled from Fathead Brewery, and I got a couple other different brews to review, but we'll do that in a minute. First of all, though, let's get into the politics, because this is Urban Politics. This is what you came here for, the politics, right? So let's start with Mitch McConnell. He's been having some troubles lately. Freezing at the mic. Have you seen this? It's sad. It's cringeworthy, as the kids would say. It's downright cringeworthy to see Mr. McConnell sit there and do what old men do, space out. The man is old. Are we surprised? We have all these octogenarians and all these other old people in Congress, and you ask yourself, how do some of these guys, win a bid in Congress and then they're there until they finally die? And Mitch McConnell, man, he probably just needs to step down. Hang it up, okay? A couple of times this guy done been at the mic, frozen like a deer in headlights. Totally have taken leave of his faculties. He didn't know what was going on in front of that mic. So bad, a couple of our staff had to get in his ear and say, hey, Mr. McConnell, just move along. Let's just get out of here. Let's just leave the podium, okay? Because this couldn't look any worse. You done froze. And it's happened a couple of times. So, of course, there's calls on both sides for McConnell to step down. Probably never going to happen. Never going to happen. A lot of these men and women, they die in Congress. Now, some of them eventually step down, right? Feinstein, she said she's going to step down. And like I said, some of these guys and gals, they eventually step down, but none of them ever want to relinquish, that coveted honor of being a congressman or woman or a senate man or woman or whatever, senator or whatever, So they just stay there forever, and they end up decrepit shells of human beings who need to probably shuffle along and let somebody younger fill that position. McConnell. But it'll never happen because they eat, sleep, and breathe that power. Mitch McConnell loves wielding that power that he's wielded for years, destroying good legislation. It's his bread and butter. So the man probably couldn't see himself doing anything different. So in his mind, he gonna do it until the day he dies, which, by the looks of it, not to call anything bad on anybody, but might be sooner than what he or we think. Because like I said, the guy that froze a couple of times right there at the mic, and that is not a good look for a politician. That's not a good look for a human being. The fact that you just can't gather words at the moment, that's really showing the man's age. And like I said, a lot of these men and women, they're old. They're too old to be working. I'm sorry. There's a reason why you're supposed to collect retirement at 61, 62 and be done. And you know what I'm saying? Try and live with some dignity off of this retirement that you've worked and put into. Because that's the point in your life to where you just ain't got it no more, You're old and it's time to take a break. It's time to rest. Still we have these men and women up there in Congress, and they make these major decisions on major legislation that affects you and I's life. And some of them are old and not in full control of their own faculties. So it's definitely something that we all need to think about going forward. Heck, we got a president who's super old, probably too old to be president. And I like Joe Biden. He's better than the alternative, right? But at the same time, he's an old man. Some got to give, ladies and gentlemen. So there's that. You know what I'm saying? Mitch McConnell freezing up at the mic. It's not a good look. Will he ever step down? Probably not. There's calls from both sides for the man to step down. It probably still ain't going to happen. It is what it is. We got what we got. We'll see what happens with Mr. McConnell. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about DeSantis. And he just screwing up all over the place, screwing up Florida. Trying to change a liberal arts college. There's a liberal arts college. The name escapes me in Florida. He done went in there and he done definitely, obviously made this college like a piece of his attack on wokeism, because this was a liberal arts college. It was started as a place where everyone was accepted, regardless of color, age, gender, whatever. He's mad about that because of the history of this college specifically. He has went after this college, so now he's seeking to change things. They got rid of a lot of the old students. They don't offer a lot of classes that they used to offer, and then they said most of the student body that they brought in now are athletes. Well, they said most of those athletes are baseball players. They don't even have a baseball field to play on. So you done brought all these kids to this college in the name of being baseball players. They don't even have a baseball field to practice on. Now, I'm sure they're going to do practices other places or whatever, but they don't even have a field to practice on. They were saying that not a lot of these teams are, collegiate level teams, whatever, but a lot of these teams didn't exist at this college. They're just making them new this year because they want the focus to be on academics and not to be on all this social stuff, all this wokeism or whatever that he said. This made up word, this made up term that DeSantis likes to use, wokeism. You know what I'm saying? So they said they want to get into this college and make sure that no longer do they focus on wokeism, but now they focus on academics and sports and stuff like that. So it's pathetic. It's lame. Unfortunately, these kids at this college and their education and their lives have just become another political football for DeSantis, you know what I'm saying, to use and to play these games thinking he's going to be president. Ladies and gentlemen, mark my words, that man will never, ever be president. Okay, he'll never be president. He does not have a snowball's chance between your legs of becoming president. You hear what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen? That guy is not ready for prime time. He comes off like an idiot every time he's in front of, can we get that bobblehead crap going? And whenever you ask him what is wokeness, well, wokeness is anything. That guy's he's laughable. He's a laughing stock. He'll never be president. But in his crusade to become president, he doesn't mind destroying the lives of some young college goers. You know what I'm saying? If that makes him look a little better with his MAGA community, he's all good with it. So DeSantis is taking those kids for a ride. Not meeting with Joe Biden for disaster relief. Let me tell you something. Politics is what it is, and everybody plays a little politics. But that's really lame and short-sighted. You are the governor of Florida. There's a hurricane that is ravaging Florida right now. The president comes and tours Florida as the governor of Florida. You're there with him. You're talking to him. You're taking him to the different districts that need a little special love and care from the federal government. You're showing the commander-in-chief these things with his own two eyes so you can make sure to secure those funds for your state. That's what a governor is supposed to do. Not play politics and not want to meet with the president because he's a Democrat and you're a Republican who's all up the MAGA booty. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen, but that's what he's doing. He playing politics with people's lives. You know, there they are in Florida, they're going through it, and this guy, because of politics, playing politics, he don't want to meet with the president. And people asked Biden, they said, what happened with your meeting with DeSantis? He said, I don't know what happened to the meeting. And then they were talking about maybe it was a schedule conflict or something like that. And they said Joe Biden smiled and said, do you really, okay, is that what you think? Or whatever. When it's like, basically, you know what this is about. And Joe Biden knew what it was about. This ain't nothing but political theater. This is a guy not wanting to meet with me because there's a D behind my name and there's an R behind his name. And his R buddies don't like it when he's even put in a picture with a person with a D behind their name. And that is ridiculous. It's pathetic. It's lame. It's the GOP in a nutshell these days, and not, ladies and gentlemen. So the fact that this guy is so short-sighted and would play politics with the lives of Floridians further lets you know, once again, he will never, mark my words, DeSantis will never, ever be president. But he'll definitely take Floridians on a ride to HE double hockey sticks on his way of trying to be president, which he'll never obtain. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about some other stuff here. What's other stuff here that I wanted to talk about before I get to my IPAs of the week, which are some good ones, ladies and gentlemen. You know what? Let's talk about profits over people. A few things came across the wire that disgusted me this week, right? There was a UPS worker who died under scorching heat. This guy... they said that he had like a couple of kids, a wife, right? He'd been working for UPS like 28 years. And I guess because of no air conditioning in his truck, he gets overheated. He goes to the hospital. He ends up dying of heat exhaustion. They were saying that UPS were purposely having air conditioning units taken out of their trucks. You heard what I just said, ladies and gentlemen. With as hot as it's been, and how UPS drivers got to drive around all day in the heat. You've seen them. I've seen them delivering packages here and they're all over the place. They were taking air conditioning units out of trucks. And then you wonder why a man passes away from heat exhaustion. You know why? Because these companies do not care. They don't care about me. They don't care about you. They don't care about anything but themselves. They talked about, too, how UPS basically is like, this is just a cost of doing business. So they already surmised that. They said, hey, if we take these air conditioning units out of these trucks, it'll put people at risk. We might even lose some workers to heat exhaustion. But it's cheaper to pay these people out who do die from this than to go ahead and put the money into the trucks, into replacing all these air conditioning units and making sure that it's safe for drivers to drive in. This is sad. You can't make this stuff up, ladies and gentlemen. This is what capitalism does to a country. This is what capitalism does to a people. Think about that. They went into it saying to themselves, some people are going to die. Oh, we're going to lose some lives with this thing, right? There are going to be some people die from heat exhaustion. But we'd rather pay those people off than go ahead and do what we're supposed to do, because doing what we're supposed to do would eat into our profits too much. And we don't want to eat into our profits like that. We don't mind eating into our profits a little bit to pay off some dead folk. But we don't want to eat into our profits to do the right thing. Welcome to America, man. That's sad. That's pathetic. I tell people all the time, look, always protect yourself and assume that wherever you work is like a person. They're going to protect themselves first. I love where I work. At the end of the day, they're looking out for themselves first. So you better look out for yourself first. You know, I tell people that all the time. People, they always talk about pay yourself first. When you get paid, even if you just put $5 to the side and don't touch it for yourself, put it to the side. Pay yourself first. Because if you don't, who will? And I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, these businesses, they're not going to look out for you. They don't care nothing about you. You know what I'm saying? You'll leave and get sick or whatever, and they'll go on the next day, business as usual. They'll find somebody else to do your job. Maybe not as good. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not as thoroughly, but it'll be another warm body filling your position, and life will go on. So please do not be playing yourself over some job. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to stay. And you know what? I'm guilty of it myself. Back in the day, I was sick and I was at work, and I stuck it out. I stayed there, and then I went to the emergency room at the end of the day. My father said, "What are you, crazy?" I said, "First of all, if I'm at work and I'm sick," he said, "I'm dropping everything. I'm going to the hospital that moment." You know, I think my dad said something like that happened. He said he left his car at work and went to the hospital because he was like, I ain't. Why I'm gonna sit here at this place and get this place a day of work when I'm sick? I need to look out for me first. And my father was right about that. That's what I've learned my days too. Look out for yourself first, because if you don't, who will? And I guarantee you, your job, they do not love you. They don't care about you. Now, they might like your work. You might, and I get accolades at my job all the time. I'm such a great worker, and I'm so good with the kids and all that. That's fine. Guess what? They'll drop me like a hot rock the moment that I'm not performing for them. The moment I'm not doing what my job wants me to do, they'll tell me to kick rocks like they have done other people I've seen back in the day too, who are just as good as I. They ain't there no more, right? Because when it was shaking time, my place of business didn't mind shaking them, and that's just how it is, man. A business is like a person; it's always looking out for itself first. You know, and then they were talking about how a lot of these instances are just commonplace around America. You have a whole lot of people dying at work. A lot of them from heat exhaustion. A lot because climate change is real. And you have a lot of businesses who just don't want to do what they need to do to make these working conditions safe for workers. And it's all just the price of business. They just say to themselves, no big deal. You know what I'm saying? We're just going to put that in there. You know, we might have to pay such and such $1 million out to workers who die on the job. But that's no big deal because we're going to make all these billions over here. Who cares about a few millions that we got to pay out to workers who die? Yeah, these were men and women who had families, and there'll be some, some fatherless children. There'll be some motherless children. There'll be some, some people missing a spouse, some people missing a mom, some people missing a dad, some people missing a brother, missing a cousin. Oh, well, No big deal. It's just the cost of doing business. We'll pay those people off. They'll get their money. They'll live with it however they live with it. And we can keep making our billions because in America, still don't nothing move but the money, right? Like Rakim said. Anyway, moving on. Before I get to my last point, which is something sad that I've seen in the news that everybody's been talking about. We'll talk about it in a minute. First thing first, I'm going to talk about my IPAs before I even get into all of that. Let's start with this right here. This is a good one. This is delicious. This is this lemon squeeze pasture. Lemon squeeze passion. This Land Grant. This is not an IPA. This is a I think it's a lager. Yeah, it's a what is it? Because I was reading it. Yeah, it's a lager with lime. So this is a lager with lime, not an IPA, but a darn good beer. So I had to review it. This is really good. Land Grant Lemon Squeeze Passion. I think that's real cute. Lemon Squeeze Passion. That was a delicious beer. You can actually taste the lemon. You know what I'm saying? It has that kickback of lemon. Really, really good. Here's another one that I really like. Now, first of all, Voodoo Ranger makes a lot of good beers. I probably like all the Voodoo Rangers I've ever had. One of my most favorite beers on the planet is Juice Force. And it's made by Voodoo Ranger. So Voodoo Ranger makes some really good beers, really good IPAs, really strong IPAs. This is not an IPA, though. This is a Atomic, or I'll take it back. Well, no. This isn't an IPA. This is Atomic Citrus Blood Orange Ale. That is some good stuff right there, that blood orange ale. You're starting to see a whole lot of things that are infused with blood orange. You know, that's kind of like the flavor of the day or whatever, you know. You'll see it in beers and such. And this is a real good one right here. I was trying to see, you know, what was the alcohol content for you, because I always say, you know, if it's a good, strong beer, you always want to get something that, you know what I'm saying, a beer that you can feel. You want to feel it or whatever. I think on this one, they ain't even labeled it, though, or whatever. But this was really good. I remember it being pretty strong, pretty vivacious. It's definitely something you will fear. It is, oh, here we go. It's 7% alcohol by volume. You know what I'm saying? So that's a little, you know, higher than most of your 5.0% beers. That's a good one. Now I want to review my 2 IPAs. These are specifically IPAs. Those other beers are just regular beers. And I like regular beers sometimes, a lager, stuff like that. As you know, my favorite beer is Vitus. That's a wheat beer. But that's a beer that's also made by the oldest brewery, I think, probably in the world. 250 some years these guys been at it, and that's the reason why that's the best beer I've ever had in my life. That Vitus by Wusterfaner, yeah. So, and that's a wheat beer, right? But these are IPAs. As you know, I'm an IPA lover, word to mother. This right here, this groovy, juicy, hazy Indian Pale Ale. What? Now, both of these beers that I'm about to review are from Fathead Brewery. Fathead Brewery has gotten awards. They're known for their IPAs and their beers and stuff like that. They got another IPA. I think I've reviewed it here on the show before, and it's really, really good. It was the one that they won a whole bunch of awards for and such. This particular IPA is, I'm trying to look, it says, yeah, it's hazy, you dig? Yes. It is 7.1% alcohol by volume, so it is delicious. Like it says, it's groovy, it's juicy, it's hazy. It says it all on the can right there, and it does not disappoint, ladies and gentlemen. That's a good one. Here's another one by Fatheads Brewery. Chill out and have a beer, man. Smells like green. And this right here is Green Grunge IPA. Green Grunge IPA. Whenever I hear grunge, I think of Kurt Cobain and Nirvana and all that whole scene coming out of Seattle or whatever. But this Green Grunge IPA is good. I think that's kind of a harken to, you know, Mary Jane or something like that or whatever. But as far as it goes, let me tell you, this beer was pretty delicious, pretty strong, very hoppy. I like a nice hoppy beer. It's very hoppy. What here says, it says Matt, Chris, Glenn, I guess these are some of the people who made this beer, put it together. Indian Pale Ale. Alcohol by volume, 6.5% alcohol. So a little lower than some of these others, but still a really, really good IPA. Green Grunge IPA by Fathead Brewery. So you got a little bit of money in your pocket, ladies and gentlemen. You run out and get you some of these brews. Like I said, I'm an IPA lover, but I've reviewed some other beers on here that aren't even IPAs, but they're really, really, really good beers. So, you know, if you're a beer drinker like me, a beer lover like me, run on out and get you some of those beers. Take a taste, you know, please like and subscribe and comment and let me know how you like these beers, if you like them. If you think I'm talking out of my and don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to these beers or whatever, you can also let me know that. If you got some input, some beers that you like that I'm not hip to, that I maybe need to know about. You say, Ed, you need to get out that IPA box. If I need to get out the IPA box, well, push me about it, bro, and show me what I need to see, right? All right. Before I get up out of here, I want to deal with the last thing, but this is something important right here, so I wanted to section it off away from my IPAs and all of that stuff. I know that you, like I, be on the internet from time to time. You have to see what's dominating the internet lately. Now, there's a lady who, she's a TikTok, I guess, personality or whatnot. I think her name is Rah, R-A-H, and she showed a video where she was being hit in the face with a brick by a guy. Well, and I've watched all these different videos. Okay, there was a video that I guess she had made where she was playing games with somebody, right? So she, just messing around, just joking around, joke video. And so in the video, she kind of smacks this white guy. Doesn't really even smack him. She's kind of that, and he doesn't do anything. Then she walks away, and then she starts twerking or whatever. That's a joke video. The incident with her that happened, I guess, is that she was out, right? And she's telling you about it because she's holding her camera and she's all distraught and upset about the fact that there were all these black men there and no one did anything, right? So she's talking about how, yeah, this guy gets out and he's coming at me with a brick, and I'm even saying to the men around, like, y'all ain't gonna do nothing. This guy talking about he gonna hit me with a brick, and then I guess the guy was mad because he asked for a number and she didn't want to give him her number, so he hits her with the brick, right? And then by the time you see the video and she's talking about, you can see the side of her face. It looks horrible. The incident is hideous. Of course, she puts it online. There's people coming from both sides. There are people over here talking about this is the reason why women don't feel safe around men in general. This is the reason why black women don't feel safe around black men in general. This is the reason why black women feel like black men ain't because none of them stepped up to defend her. Then you had some brothers over here saying, well, did she deserve defense? And a lot of these sisters try to act funny whenever you try to do anything anyway. That's why we're not defending them. We're accused of being creeps at gyms and stuff whenever we look in their direction. Now we're expected to come to their aid or whatever and help them. This whole thing is just a big mess. I look at it and it's really it's sad is what it is, because there was a time when I don't know, women were at least women. What I mean by that was there were just some things that weren't gonna be done. I don't like in the fact that you have all these men, specifically black men, just kind of chilling there while all this is going on with this sister. But at the same time, I can't understand it. See, there's a duality here going on. I've been places and I've seen brothers get cussed out by a woman because they offered her a chair or opened the door for her. See, that's where this feminism thing is going a little too far. But you have plenty of sisters who have picked up this thing and they ran with it, and they're like, we don't like men and we don't want men doing anything. This toxic masculinity, toxic that. What that was, though, has nothing to do with masculinity. It has nothing to do with toxic masculinity. Actually, if you ask me, that whole situation had a lack of masculinity. If there was any masculinity involved in that situation, this guy would not have been coming at a woman with a brick. Ain't nothing masculine about that. There's nothing manly about that. See, people use these terms and they throw them all around. They don't know nothing about them. I'm sick of hearing about masculine women. That's a joke. That's a joke. Why is that a joke? I'm a man. I'm masculine. There is no such thing as a masculine woman. This is Phys Ed Music talking. Feel me on this. If you're a real man, you feel me on this. There's no such thing as a masculine woman, right? Because to be masculine, you have to be a man. I'm a man. She's a woman. Full stop. Full stop. It blows me away. People always talk about she's a masculine woman. Well, then what kind of man are you? Because you're a man, so she should never be more masculine than you. Do you know what masculinity is? Do you know what it looks like? Masculinity is not brute force. Masculinity doesn't have anything to do with beating somebody up, right? Masculinity don't have to do with any of that. Masculinity is being a strong enough man to beat somebody up, but then take care of a child. That's masculinity. Masculinity is like Reba McEntire said, with gentle hands, but the heart of a fighter. That's masculinity. Masculinity is being, what did they say? Being a warrior in a garden and not being a gardener in a war. That's masculinity. You're a warrior in a garden. You know what I'm saying? You walk softly but carry a big stick. That's masculinity. Having this power, but you don't use it willy-nilly. You use it when it's needed because you're a man and a real man. So when I hear about a masculine woman, I'm like, nah. You get women who are loud. You get women who are boisterous. You get women who talk about no man could tame me or control me. Well, why should you have to be controlled? You're not an animal or a dog, but whatever. You know, no man can tame me. No man can control me. Whatever. That's not what masculinity is about. And that's not a masculine woman. That's a boisterous woman. That's a bullish woman. That's a woman who needs to be taught how to be a woman, right? But she's not a masculine woman because these things that she's exhibiting, they don't have anything, these traits, they have nothing to do with masculinity. And on her best day, she's still what? A woman. Ergo, she can't be a masculine woman because I'm masculine. Whatever she's doing has to be feminine, right? Because she's a woman. Now, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm 47 years old, so the rules, I guess, are probably different with me. I'm not on this new school madness, but that just is what it is. When I hear some of these terms get thrown around, toxic masculinity. Are you serious? Masculine women. This is stupid. This is stupid. Ain't no such thing as a masculine woman. You got women who are loud. You got women who are overbearing. You have women who are annoying. You have women who don't listen. You have women who don't know their place. Are they masculine? No. No, they can't be. Because guess what? They're women. Masculinity is reserved for what? People who are masculine, which is a man. All right, there it is. That's my time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your humble host, Fizz and Music, and this right here is Urban Politics. I'd like to thank you all for liking and subscribing as you do. Please, as soon as you have a chance, take your little cell phone over to YouTube, like and subscribe, Fizz and Music, Urban Politics, and as always, ladies and gentlemen, see you around like a donut.